Another Pokemon Winds and Waves leak dump video for you guys today. So of course, it has actually been a little bit of time since I have made one of these. And basically, if you're not aware, these videos we just talk about a ton of random different leaks, rumors, speculation, and just news in general for the future Pokemon games. And today we got some big ones. So hold on, right before we get into it, I would greatly appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel, help me reach my goal of 45,000 subscribers, guys. Let's see if we get today's sub goal of 23 subscribers, guys. We're just gonna go with an odd number today. And make sure to stick around to the end to hear about the giveaway that we're running up. And now we're just gonna jump right into it, man. So from a couple of days ago, somebody said at Ball Guy, which Ball Guy is a very reputable leaker if you've not heard of him, saying we are still under the assumption that there won't be any info on Winds and Waves from the Pokemon company this year. Ball Guy saying correct. The original user saying such a rough 30-year anniversary. Ball Guy then saying the year was just fulfilling 2025's promises with Champions, World's Experience, Pokopia, etc. Next year will be the victory lap for the 30th anniversary, and of course, the ball will be rolling once February hits. Games, movies, and anime projects, more to come on my end in the future. And honestly, I guess I'll throw this in here. He did say Electric Bat, which we did kind of cover that, but yeah, Electric Bat Pokemon could potentially be making its way into the new Pokedex of Winds and Waves. This makes sense. At 30th anniversary, many people are saying it's just kind of a flop. We are getting stuff, but as far as, you know, the big 30th anniversary, it just doesn't really feel like that hyped up from Pokemon themselves, I guess. But let me know how you guys are feeling about that. This is great news, though, because, of course, Ball Guy, being one of the most reputable leakers at the moment, saying that he will continue to give us more information when he does get some of it in the future, and it's basically all-encompassing with everything from Pokemon. And recently, we have been getting a pretty decent amount of rumors and leaks, and man, when we get even closer to this game dropping, it's gonna probably be a madhouse. Going into more of the bat stuff, Soul Silver Art saying potential leak. I'd be shocked if this isn't a type of flying fox. They have mega bats in Southeast Asia, which are some of the biggest bats in the world, Titan-like. I wonder if the electric could be from the sun daylight. Maybe it generates light like a lantern torch, lighting the paths in dark caves. Now, could you imagine if that electric bat leaked Pokemon is some sort of like Titan Pokemon? I do believe we will still have alpha Pokemon in this game or just bigger Pokemons. Could you imagine seeing like a Titan, ginormous, scary looking bat, wolf, flying fox kind of dog Pokemon as an electric type? I think we need some more bat Pokemon, man. You know, I'm tired of seeing Zubat, so Zubat, you gotta stay out of this game, please. I would rather be running into an electric bat Pokemon every 2 seconds when I'm in a cave rather than a Zubat, because bro, every single Pokemon game I play, I swear Zubat just follows me, and I can't take it any longer. And another thing I want to bring up, so you guys have probably heard and seen this stuff by now, but we did get a ginormous Pokedex leak from Gen 4, like the original Pokemon with like their concept art and stuff, and a lot of them never actually happened, but you can see they apparently were planning on a yellow Gastrodon, which would entail yellow Shellos. Now, this is still probably one of the biggest rumored Pokemon for Winds and Waves. I've talked about it a lot. I know you guys have talked about it a lot, and always love when we get some new information about this. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because many times in the past, Game Freak, the Pokemon company, whatever, have actually brought in old Pokemon, like old scrapped Pokemon or beta Pokemon from the past generations, and kind of recreated it, did like a spin-off of that. And honestly, I think they have sometimes entirely just brought that Pokemon back in general. So we have had straight up teases in Pokopia about a yellow Shellos, and I do believe we had some other confirmation that they were planning on it, like from the Terra Leak or something in a past game before. But this is just yet another confirmation of, yeah, yellow Gastrodon / Shellos did in fact technically exist, but we just don't have it in a Pokemon game yet. So hey, Generation 10 is the absolute perfect region for it, because it just makes total sense, right? And hey, maybe a DLC could give us another color, another 4th Shellos and Gastrodon for all of the 4 different directions, being north, south, east, and west, right? Now let's talk about some more of the leaks about the islands and the map of this game. So we did have early on rumors about there being floating islands in Winds and Waves. Now, we haven't really heard too much about that. This is definitely one of those things that I think would be pretty cool, but also I wouldn't care if it's not in the game, just because, like, would it really make sense to have floating islands in this game, right? So, Light88 saying floating islands, Pokemon Winds and Waves. The latest leaks about the game strongly suggest that floating islands could still be part of the game's world. According to leaks, there are several areas that can only be reached using flying Rotom mode. On the leaked Terra League map, Island 17 is even labeled as Elevated Island, which seems like a pretty direct hint. Keep in mind that this map was discovered during the Terra Leak and represents an early early development version, so some locations may have changed in the final game. I try to mention this as much as I can, but some of the stuff in the Terror League and all the leagues will change. Like some of the things that probably were pretty far in development could be canceled, and they could reintroduce some old things, and a lot of it's still gonna happen basically, right? There's also a good chance that the Wind Legendary Temple is gonna be located on top of the floating island, since we'll likely have to catch both legendary Pokemon, because it seems like actually both of the legendaries will play a role within the storyline just based on the leaks that we do have. So it makes sense for one to be found high in the skies while the other rests deep beneath the ocean, perfectly matching the Winds and Waves theme. And that is not all. The leaked map also includes several unidentified islands with no confirmed purpose yet, but it is entirely possible that some of these hidden locations can only be accessed by flying, giving flying a Rotom mode an even bigger role in exploration. And if these leaks are more accurate, exploring the skies could become one of the most exciting new features in Winds and Waves. What do you think? Are floating islands finally coming to Pokemon? And here is the islands of the map. So I'm actually going to blur out the map itself just because I'm a little unsure if I'm able to show this. But we do have like the names of the things that are going to be on the island, just kind of explaining the islands. You know, some of the things being like Woobat Tunnel, so Woobat is probably going to be in this game. Maybe that could be the electric bat Pokemon that Ball Guy was teasing, could be some sort of regional variant. You know, there's things like Anthill Fieldlands, so, you know, Durant maybe could be in this game as well. And I wanted to bring up another huge leak that we had a little bit ago, which I covered some of this stuff, and some of it I actually have not seen before, so some of the stuff just may have went right past my face or something like that. I know some of you guys have probably seen some of this stuff, so bear with me. I'm still gonna go through it all because I just know that there are some people that haven't seen some of this, so it's very cool information regardless. So even if you have seen it, bro, low-key, it's worth a double take. There is allegedly no Tropius evolution. That's an L in my opinion. Allegedly there will be no new evolution. Again, that's a big L. My theory is that it still could be happening, because this could be a different development of the game, an early build of the game, or could be incorrect information, or they could be giving us a DLC that would introduce a new evolution, or 2 or 3. Hey, 3 would be awesome. And one of the new things that I haven't seen before is that shipwrecks are littered throughout the region. I think this makes perfect sense. Of course, shipwrecks throughout the region makes me think of pirates, because in Southeast Asia, where this game is taking place, pirates have a history there. So having shipwrecks would be awesome. It'd be another thing to explore, hopefully even underwater. And we had somebody on the live stream that I was doing the other day who had a crazy theory saying, what if this could entail that the enemy team, maybe they are pirates, or maybe pirates will actually be in this game? And I can't find your channel, but if you were the guy that said that, leave a comment down below and I'll pin you, because I thought that theory was so awesome and I would be so down for that. And even though this game is taking place in the modern day, it would be still really cool if they could have like the classic pirate inspiration with that. There are underwater locations, reefs, cave systems, etc. This is another new one right here, being that the Rotom Scooter apparently has small wings to soar and fly. So I don't know if this still entails we'll be able to see a Pokemon. Game Freak wanted this game to have rideable Pokemon, meaning we could hop on Charizard and go fly around and stuff like that. And then they scrapped that for the Rotom Scooter, which was something that could be attached to a Pokemon. So technically we're still riding the Pokemon, but it's on the Rotom Scooter, so it's not as cool. I think this is lame though. I think the rideable Pokemon feature, it should have happened, and it should still happen, bro. They still have time. Game Freak, you guys probably still have time to give us this feature, man. And that's where this leak about these some areas that can only be reached by soaring and flying came into play that I haven't covered yet. Of course, the shiny sound is back. This is one of the new ones that I do not remember talking about before today's video, saying that the Wind and the Wave Temple from the Terra League are actually going to be separate locations on the map. If I'm not mistaken, maybe originally it was supposed to be like in the same location, but of course, depending on which game you would have, it would just look different, if that makes sense. So maybe they're both going to be in the game, because it says both legendaries are in the game. They both play a role in the story, similar to Pokemon Black and White, where both legendaries, Reshiram and Zekrom, definitely had something to do with the storyline. And in this person's build of the game, the new Pokemon are using existing models as placeholders, so there are no new Pokemon designs in their Winds and Waves build that they do have. Basically saying that the abilities have been blanked out. Nexu is very complex, which definitely sounds like the Battle Evolution gimmick is going to be very complex in this game. Pokemon can follow you in the overworld is another one, which is just makes sense because, you know, Legend Z and stuff. Of course, a couple of Pokemon having new forms that we have covered before, but they are Steelix, Houndoom, Salazzle. And this Pokemon's name, I do believe, is pronounced Hydreigon. I'm low-key at Chud and have been calling it Hydreigon my entire life. So guys, how do you pronounce this Pokemon's name, guys? Please let me know, man. Unknown if it's regional forms for the previous evolutions or something, and then no Sunflora evolution, and of course something new with Clamperl and Nincada, which of course those are some of the things we have covered before as well. And Pokemon Winds and Waves is going to be turn-based, but the main change to the battle system is that there's no longer strictly singles, doubles. Instead, any amount of opposing Pokemon can join in and exit the battle like in ZA. So essentially, it's gonna be how, like, you know, ZA is where multiple Pokemon can apparently attack you and stuff at one moment, and I have heard that you can still freely move around when you're in a battle, but it's gonna be turn-based with that specific Pokemon. So definitely seems like it's a little bit of inspiration from everything that they have done so far. Let me know if you guys prefer turn-based or just like the Legends ZA style where you have to let the moves cool down and everything. And about that Sunflora evolution, Souls of War are making a pretty good point saying that it is the type of Pokemon that needs attention because Game Freak should be giving evolutions to Pokemon that need something more, like Dunsparce, Dusclops, not to mention Pokemon like Houndour or Zweilous, bro, one of those Pokemon that I never know how to pronounce. And that's what they normally do when it comes to cross-gen evolutions, but also they throw a fun, random, unnecessary evolution in there too. I think a Sunflora evolution would be awesome because, I mean, bro, it's a very sunny and tropical region. It would be awesome to just see a new form of Sunflora or just something involving this Pokemon, but let me know what you guys have to think about that. And hopefully today's video is a little bit longer. I've been seeing the comments you guys do want some longer videos, so let me know all your thoughts and theories about today's leaks and rumors. I think some of these are pretty fascinating, and of course we do got some theories mixed in within it as well. And now to the giveaway. So it's taking place in our Discord, 100% free to join. It's in the description down below. My bro Jay and I are both doing this where we're gonna each give away a $20 eShop gift card to 2 different winners, so 1 each if that makes sense. We just have it in the Discord so we can easily message the winners and just keep track of who entered. And we're going to be wrapping this up very soon here. If you guys are real watching this far in the video, comment down below, rabbit, just the word rabbit. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.